What's going on, everyone? Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they together went to the Brooklyn Nets in the hopes to play together and win an NBA championship. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out, and it has been a total disaster, a total mess. And I don't really blame Brooklyn for wanting to acquire both these players. I think every team in the league would have done that back then. I don't know about so much now, although I do kind of think like if a team could acquire both, they might take the chance. They might look at it as like, well, we have a better organization, better structure, better coach, this, that, and the other. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. But regardless, both of these players are likely going to be on different teams, maybe as soon as this year. If not, very likely next year. I mean, Kyrie Irving is a free agent after this year, and all the reports and talks are that Kyrie's going to the Lakers. Kevin Durant looks like he might be going to the Boston Celtics. They are the front runner. They have enough to go and acquire Kevin Durant. Just depends on how much are they willing to give up to get KD. The Nets don't really have to trade KD because he's on a 4-year deal, although he's made it very clear he wants to leave and gave the Nets that ultimatum: trade me or fire basically the organization. Those are your options. And Joe Tsai basically said, yeah, we're not going to do that. And it looks like they're trying to re-engage in talks. Well, there was a report via NBA Insider about these two maybe potentially playing with another team. And it is an old trade idea that has potentially been revisited. And that is Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant going to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this is something that has been reported in the past. This is something that people have thrown in the comment section, or if I do live streams, people throw it in the live streams. I've even talked about it in the past. But based on this report, it would be Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant going to the Lakers, and then, of course, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and THT, as well as both of the Lakers' first-round picks, the 27 and 29 firsts. So basically, an original idea and thought that was thrown out there. The only added bonus is the THT, and the whole idea is that the Brooklyn Nets, they can't tank, so you get two stars that hopefully can work together. You know, you still have Ben Simmons, you still have, TJ Warren, you still have Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Patty Mills. You still have enough around these two guys to be really good. You get a young asset in THT that you can kind of grow and develop. And if you're the Lakers, you got the trio of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. What more could you ask for? Now, just looking at the Brooklyn Nets side, obviously, this is a deal that is not the greatest in the world, but I think it is a fair deal, right? You get another superstar. You get a top 5 to 10 player at the worst in Anthony Davis if he can stay healthy. But to be fair, Anthony Davis has played more games in the last 3 years than Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So, I mean, how much worse could it be? Russell Westbrook is Mr. Reliable. Not just that, but he is an expiring contract, so his money falls off the books. And then you would have Ben Simmons and Anthony Davis to build around for the future, because Anthony Davis isn't old. He's still, under 30. He's 27, so you still have him for at least another probably 7 years, if not maybe a little longer, depending on health and, just his deterioration and decline, stuff like that. You get a guy in THT who's young. Westbrook, if it works out and it's great, you can re-sign him for less because he's not going to get a $47 million max. If it doesn't work out, you just let him go. And like I said, you have Ben Simmons and Anthony Davis. Now, the only problem is Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons. Like, how would that work? But the right format, the right situation, you have Ben Simmons in the dunker spot. We've seen Russell Westbrook play well with guys like Steven Adams, who can't shoot a lick, anything like that. Plus, who knows if Ben Simmons even plays this year? And if you have this team, you could always just say, if you're the Nets, hey, Ben Simmons, get your mind, get your body right for the year. Take the year off. Do what you got to do. We need you next year because Westbrook's going to be gone. You could always go that route, but this would at least keep the Brooklyn Nets competitive because they cannot tank. They're in a very unique situation for a team that's trading their superstar. They have none of their draft picks for the next 7 years. They're all unprotected to the Houston Rockets. So any deal that they do, they need to get back assets that could lead them to potentially competing in the Eastern Conference. And I do think that this would compete. Now, I don't think personally the Brooklyn Nets would do this. I think, one, they don't really want Westbrook, and two, I just think that they would rather go younger. I think for the Nets situation, the Boston Celtics deal is a better deal. I think, you get Jaylen Brown if you can get Marcus Smart and some first. I think that is better than this deal. I'm not saying that Anthony Davis isn't as good as Jaylen Brown. I think Anthony Davis is an overall better player, but health is an issue. Westbrook, I think, is better than Marcus Smart, whether people want to admit that or not. He still is. I think talent-wise, this is a better talent, but if you can get Jaylen Brown, you can get Marcus Smart. They fit better with Ben Simmons. Hopefully you can get Ben Simmons to work. I think you still got enough pieces to be competitive. And you got the young, cornerstone pieces that you can kind of build for the future. Anthony Davis can be that guy, but how happy is he going to be in Brooklyn? Is he going to be in a situation where they're winning? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? There's just a lot of concerns and questions. So personally, I think if anybody says no, it's the Brooklyn Nets in this deal. Although, this isn't the worst deal ever if you're Brooklyn. If this is what you end up with, I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, Brooklyn got fleeced, they messed up. You're getting another superstar, you're getting another all-star in Russell Westbrook. I know many people think Russell Westbrook's the worst player in the league because he was bad with the Lakers last year, but he's not. The year before, that dude was a 22, 11, and 11 guy for the Washington Wizards. Him and Bradley Beal took a bunch of guys in street clothes to the playoffs. I mean, the dude is still a winner. He's still a consistent player that you're going to see every night in and night out. He's a guy that you have a team that is a much better fit because you got a bunch of shooters around him, so he'd be a lot more effective, get easier assists. I just think it would work if you're the Brooklyn Nets. I just don't know if this deal is better for them in the long term than the Boston Celtics deal. But looking from the Lakers standpoint, I mean, come on, this is a no-brainer. You get Kevin Durant, you get Kyrie Irving. The idea is LeBron is the ultimate sort of leader, which both of these guys need. And LeBron was able to get the most out of Kyrie Irving, and I think that's why many people believe that Kyrie going to the Lakers makes the most sense because LeBron's there. I think if LeBron wasn't there, I don't think Kyrie to the Lakers would even be a thought. I don't think the Lakers would want to do it. I don't think anybody would want the Lakers to go get Kyrie. But we're all kind of looking at it as hey, Kyrie admitted he was the problem and he was the one that ruined the LeBron James and Kyrie Irving relationship. So he has that. He's a guy that loves LA, a guy that is a Kobe fanatic, and he's going to have a ton to prove. You're going to probably get the best Kyrie you've seen in a long time with LeBron James. Kevin Durant, he's proven he can't be the leader. He can't be that guy. Now, would Kevin Durant want to play with LeBron? Probably not. He might not like it. But if you're Kevin Durant, you're on a 4-year deal. You don't really have a choice. If this is the best deal for the Nets, they're probably going to make the trade regardless. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. And if you're Kevin Durant, do you really want to try to leave the Lakers after you just made this big mess in Brooklyn? You still get to play with Kyrie Irving. Get a guy in LeBron James who can be the kind of point guard, and he's only going to be there for a couple of years. So on the back end of your contract, you're probably just going to be you and Kyrie. This might also incentivize Kyrie as the years go on, because the big concern is if the Lakers get Kyrie Irving, yeah, he'll probably be great as long as LeBron's there. But what happens after LeBron? Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving would still be a great duo, but what kind of Kyrie Irving are you getting without LeBron James to kind of keep him in line, to keep him under wraps? Kevin Durant, hopefully, a second time around could work. I do think the Lakers would be one of the few teams that would be willing to risk it, even with all of the mess and chaos that went on in Brooklyn. I think that they're one of the few teams that would say, okay, yeah, you know what? We'll take them. We'll take the chance. And I mean, you got LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. You're winning at least a championship. I think you're probably winning at least 2 or 3, that's basically all LeBron needs at this point. He's going to very likely pass Kareem for the all-time scoring list. After that, all that's left is to just, stack reins and try to chase Jordan, right? The elusive GOAT, however you feel about that GOAT debate. But I think from a Lakers standpoint, this would make all the sense in the world. I think the Lakers would pull this trigger immediately. I don't even think there'd be questions or thoughts about it. I think the Lakers would say, yeah, we'll take the chance on both of them. You still have Kevin Durant, which is a tradable asset. So if Kevin Durant doesn't work out, you can trade him. Kyrie doesn't work out, you kind of let him go. But you'd also get Kyrie's bird rights, so you could go over the cap. So if you have Kevin Durant and LeBron James, maybe you go sign like a Miles Turner or something, and and then you go over the cap. There's options. There's things that the Lakers could do to improve the team, to make the team better, stuff like that. So I think that this trade would be fair. I think this would be one of the most fairest trades that we'd see in a long time, because you're basically just swapping 2 stars for 2 stars. I just don't think Brooklyn would want to do it, because one, I don't think they want Westbrook, although it would make a lot of sense because now that salary's gone. But I just think that one, that, like I said, they don't want Westbrook. I think Anthony Davis, it's like, Ben Simmons and Anthony Davis would be great. I mean, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid were title contenders year after year. Anthony Davis and Ben Simmons got to at least be in the conversation, in a discussion, if they can both stay healthy and they can both play. That's a good starting point to build for your future, but it would take some finagling. But, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What would you think about this trio? Do you think, if you're the Lakers, pull the trigger? If you could do this, let's do it. Get it done right away. Now, obviously, I still think the Lakers get Kyrie Irving. I don't think they're getting Kevin Durant. But, it doesn't hurt to throw your hat in the ring, right? Just say, hey, well, this is what we're willing to give you. Swap it, that kind of thing. There have been reports that the Lakers, a lot of the execs in the Lakers front office, want to explore an Anthony Davis trade. So maybe you do that. My concern is Kevin Durant's played 90 games in the last 3 years. So, I mean, how unhealthy is AD? At least AD's played more than that. So, and Kyrie Irving, I do think these both would play more, and I do think they and LeBron would really benefit off of each other. I don't think any of these three would have to do too much, which I think is hugely beneficial. I think they could all kind of help each other, not just on the court, but off the court, and just to alleviate some of that burden that they have. I think would be huge. Again, if you're the Lakers, I think you do this as many times as you possibly can. If you're the Nets, I don't know. I think if Boston wasn't in the picture, I would say this is the best deal. But I think Boston's deal would be better, like I said, for the long term, because you're getting a guy that up to this point hasn't had any health issues, has been good, is a guy that is young enough to be your cornerstone. You can kind of use him as your jumping off point to kind of grow the franchise in the future. But again, however you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.